United States are a constitutionally limited republic. We are so on purpose. The greatness of this nation lies in our founding fathers acknowledging that liberty comes from God. No jurisdiction has control of our liberties. This current regime seems to think that the American people are two wolves and a sheep arguing about what's for dinner. Liberty dictates the sheep be armed. Majorities do not rule when it comes to liberty. That's the essence of the civil rights movement, and it's the essence of our argument here today. Governments are instituted to secure our liberties, not to grant or deny them. Look at that sign, don't tread on me. Yet increasingly, those that don't pay any taxes at all are dictating through their willing accomplices in Washington how those taxes, your taxes, are to be spent. And they're doing so in ways that are detrimental to your liberty. This current crop in Washington likes to talk about fairness an awful lot, don't they? A fair share in the dismal outcome they are trying to create will not be very fair for anybody. This current socialist bent in Washington is leading us down a road of serfdom, poverty, and bankruptcy. Our republic and our liberties are under attack from the inside, and the weapon of choice is the tax code. Our government has become what our founders feared, a government that rules over the people. That brings us to why we are here today. The time has come to protest a corrupt government. This is the time to petition our government for a redress of our grievances.
It's the tyranny of the majority.
This is our message to Washington in general and Chet Edwards in particular. Go read the Constitution. While you're at it, read a bill or two before you sign it into law. If you vote or you voted for reckless spending or taxing, we will vote you out of office. If we want to take back our government, we must regain control of our tax policy. It is the key that enables everything going on in Washington at this moment. The oppressive interference in our lives is only enabled by the excessive taxation from a corrupt government. The one enables the other. If we are to contain Washington, we have to contain the tax code. That's why I'm a supporter of the fair tax. It's an essential tool to take back our government. It's simple and it's transparent. It's so simple, President Obama's cabinet can figure out how to pay their taxes. Go check it out at fairtax.org if you haven't before. The fair tax would require that everybody, citizen or not, pay taxes. It would give everybody a vested interest in the level of our taxation. It would get the lobbyists out of our tax code, and it would reward savings. I will be a co-sponsor of the fair tax. In addition, we must balance our budget. To do that, we must tax little and spend less. Thomas Jefferson said that a government that can give you everything is a government that can take it all away, and that is the issue today. We must defang Washington. To do that, we must defund Washington. Money is a tool, for good or ill. Since we are moral beings, money takes on our morality. When Washington comes after your wallet, make no mistake, they are coming after your morality as well. How many times have you been told that you're greedy or selfish to want to keep your hard-earned money? As if forced taxation were the same thing as charitable giving. It is not. In fact, your government wants you to believe that there must be a wall between your morality and its statism. Imagine that. The result of this desire to separate both you from your money and your morality from its uses are plain to see. This government holds you and your values in contempt. And this current lot is ambitious. Just hand over your money, and while you're at it, shut up. After all, we won. The goal of the socialist in taking more of your money is to take with it your values as well. There's a reason the current administration wants to eliminate the charitable deduction from taxes. They do not wish your values to interfere with their plans for your money. Washington is its own #1 charity. Just look at our fiscal policy. We've become a nation of borrowers and spenders, and that comes at a steep price. In order to make it easier for the government to borrow money, Washington must make it more difficult for you to save. They do this in a variety of ways. For example, they keep interest rates on savings at near zero for years at a time, and they have a slow inflation creep into the dollar. The result of this is 7 out of 10 American families live paycheck to paycheck. Stress, overtime, divorce, broken lives, these are all the result. This government's fiscal policy is immoral. It has devastating consequences on our shared values. Money separated from morality cannot be a force for good. Don't be fooled. The current tax scheme isn't just about your wallet, it's an attack on your spirituality as well. Now is the time to stand up. If we do not, the consequences of borrow and spend will continue to sap our shared values. It will lead this nation to bankruptcy, and ultimately, it will place the national security of this greatest nation at grave risk. I have 4 children. What am I supposed to tell them about this mountain of debt we're leaving for them? Sorry, kids, the socialists won? I don't think so. It's time for a different message. It's time to stand up. To quote William F. Buckley, it's time to stand athwart history and yell, stop! Stop spending our children's future! Stop ignoring the Constitution! Stop treading on our liberties! And stop ignoring us! We won't let you. Not anymore. It's time to tell Washington no, and it's time to say it loud enough that they hear us. Have you called Chet Edwards' office lately? President Obama has spent trillions, much of it on liberal pet projects. He's talking about making our wounded pay for their own care. He's gutting our military, and he's attacking the free markets, and this is just the first 100 days. Next, he intends to bring up card check, the Fairness Doctrine, the Freedom of Choice Act, socialized medicine, and watch out, they're coming for your guns. Chet Edwards, I think, is starting to worry about his seat. He should be. But what he's worried about is you. The closer we get to the election, the more pressure we put on Chet Edwards, the more likely he'll hedge on some of his votes in order to save his seats. Together, we can break Chet Edwards in 2010. In the meantime, you can bend him. Call his office every day. Have you financially supported one of the candidates here today? Why are you waiting? The election might be next year, but this is the critical time to seed a campaign. It takes money to defeat an incumbent. You need to make a donation, and you need to do it soon. Ultimately, we must elect a conservative to Congress in 2010 if we want to stop this administration in its tracks and take back control of our money and our liberties. Brazos Valley, you have a rare and wonderful opportunity. You sit in the most conservative district in the entire nation with a liberal Democrat in office. It will take 40 seats to change the House of Representatives. You can stop this leadership in Washington. You can. You have an opportunity to make a real difference in what will be a critical district to change the House. This is a critical time in our nation's history, and this is a critical place to be. 40 seats to change the House, this is the first one. This is our time, this is our place, and 2010 will be our vote.